Hi YouTube, this is RobberNuts1 here, and today I have episode 11, Trust But Verify, to review, so let's get started. This episode deals with trust, and trust is the major theme between the main cast in this episode. And there are three main plot points that are told in this episode. First, we see Oliver and Diggle questioning their trust with each other. The second plot point is Thea questioning Moira's loyalty to her husband and her family. Finally, we see Tommy deciding if he should trust his father as the third plot point. The Black Hawks are also introduced in this episode. The Black Hawks are DC's equivalent to a special ops team, and they're sort of like G.I. Joes. G.I. Joe, no! Marvel lost the rights 20 years ago. If you don't know where that's from, it's from Hi, I'm a Marvel and I'm a DC. It's really funny. They take a villain position this episode, and is led by a man called Ted Gaynor, who is on the list of people who failed the city, and is an ex-military leader who worked with Diggle in the army. Diggle trusts Gaynor as he once saved his life. However, Oliver doesn't trust him, putting Diggle and Oliver at odds. I think this was a really interesting idea. Diggle has been a character who has been the support for Oliver's cause. He keeps Oliver grounded, but Oliver doesn't seem to trust Diggle in quite the same way. Diggle demands that Oliver trust him, and although Diggle learns that he is wrong, this brings Diggle and Oliver closer together towards the end. Oliver is very pragmatic, whilst Diggle is very optimistic. And we can see how these characters' views differ from one another, but also why they need each other. They need each other because Oliver is a realist. He isn't a very optimistic person. He was pre-Island. However, now he's a very pessimistic, glass half empty kind of guy. Whereas Diggle is very optimistic and sort of shows Oliver that there is still good in the universe. That there are still good people. He also keeps Oliver from going over the edge as well. And I really like that aspect of their relationship or partnership. Another trust theme that happens in this episode is between Moira and Thea. Thea believes that Moira is cheating on Walter with Malcolm Merlyn and is unaware of the undertaking plot. However, it's Thea who seems to be the first to catch on to Moira's part in the undertaking. Thea finally reaches rock bottom as she takes vertigo pills that are explained in the next episode and drives a brand new car into a tree. Although Thea is less bitchy this episode, she is still whiny and bratty, but yeah. Thea is very realistic in this episode. Her whiny and brattiness are justified in this episode. She responds to how any 18-year-old would respond in light of her mother possibly cheating on her stepfather, and possibly on her father too. However, she is still irresponsible in how she deals with the response. She drives her car under intoxication and is later arrested, leading to what is a character arc. Is Thea getting a character arc? Gosh. Finally, the final trust theme is between Tommy, Laurel, and Merlin, which parallels Diggle, Oliver, and Gainer's story plot. Tommy has a very pragmatic view on life, and he doesn't view his father very positively, and resents his father for cutting him off and not caring about him. Merlin also shares this pragmatic view, but on everything. Merlin is not compassionate towards his son, and seems very uncaring, and he speaks of his deceased wife in a very emotionless and cold way. He's completely distant to, and as Moira pointed out in episode 9, when the undertaking finally happens, Merlin will feel nothing at all. He has no love in his heart anymore. He's driven and very cold, actively taking control, which slightly does parallel Oliver. However, Oliver views his friends and family as the support that gets him through the day. Merlin doesn't view it that way, and believes people to be a weakness and a threat to his goals. Laurel is the optimist. She believes that there is good in Tommy's father, whilst Diggle is slightly more cynical than Laurel. They are both very, very pure in heart, and I liked this parallel between the two characters. And actually, I liked the secondary theme of pessimism and optimism in this episode. The show is very pessimistic and very realistic. However, it's always good that there is a little bit of hope for Starling City, and it's not so hopeless like Gotham City is, and still has that optimism that Metropolis has. There is a lot of good. However, unlike in Smallville, there is a lot of evil that overshadows that, which is what I'm looking forward most to season 2, is we get to see the light in the shadows. So we get to see that good just opening its doors in Starling City. The residents of Starling City aren't paved with good intentions. Evil controls its streets, and people are unknowingly oppressed by it, who are unknowingly being controlled by the Undertaker. And I really, really liked this aspect of the show. Thank you very much for listening to me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Stay tuned for more Arrow reviews coming very soon. And yeah, I shall see you all later.